Delegation 30-4-8 as amended. The following has been notified of the time, date, place, and the agenda of the meeting. It is radio station Bamberg, advertising Carol Bamberg, the Times New Democrat Orangeburg. This meeting is now called to order. Let the record reflect that all 5 members of District 2 are here, including our superintendent, Dr. Sojourner. We have 3 of Bamberg 1, along with their superintendent, Dr. Swarty, and their interim, Ms. Dottie Brown. The purpose of this meeting tonight is discussion of proposals regarding consolidation of Bamberg 1 and Bamberg 2. We really needed Mr. Boykin in here. Can you see if he's, because there's a question we need to pose before we go any further.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
he said he was on a conference call and he was running over. He said that he was that he instructed that he would do it.
Okay. Sorry about the wait, but this is working is handling the emergency. And, we're gonna go ahead and proceed because the question that's of concern is, and we wanna make sure that when we, as we move forward as of today, as a combined group, that we're all on the same page and that we're moving forward for plan consolidation. And we've already received the second letter from your board chair stating that District 1 has agreed to move forward on the planning of consolidation. And we want to make sure that's in the interest of both boards, and that's what we're going to be doing. And it has to be very plain, because when these newspaper articles come out, all kinds of stuff is in it. And we don't want to set ourselves up for the public to think that we're supposed to be doing one thing and something else is happening. So moving forward, as of today, we want it very clear that Bamberg 1 and Bamberg 2 are moving forward with plans of consolidation for the consolidation of District 1 and 2. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Excuse me, I have a quick question. We know for sure that this $3 million allocation is still there. I mean, it's available. We will get that definitely with this consolidation, even with everything that's transpired with the, the coronavirus and the limits and the, spending with the government. We know that this money's not going to be pulled back for any reason.
Dr. Simpson?
I haven't heard anything to the contrary.
That it will be pulled back.
Can we verify that? I mean, I think that's a big part of the puzzle is just, $3 million, correct?
I haven't heard anything to the contrary of it, but are you saying that then if that's not a part of if you're saying that the $3 million is not a part of it, then there's going to be a separate action? Is that?
Well, I'm not sure. I think
Okay.
it would be good to know whether we've got this $3 million coming.
And you know what, I'm going to yield to, because I have not spoken to
Right.
Betsy Carpentier, but Devon has, and she talks to Betsy.
Okay.
So I think Devon should be, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Devon says she talks with her all the time. Betsy doesn't talk to me. I don't know if she talks with anybody else, but since Devon has been in conversation with her more recent than I have, and I guess Mrs. Swarty, then she would be in a position to answer that. But as I understand it, I don't think there's any backdraw on the $3 million.
Okay.
Devon.
Do you know, Devon, what we'll do?
The $3 million was in the 1920 budget,
Right.
so it's there.
Okay.
I did have a conversation, well, not really a conversation with Betsy today by email, because we're talking about technology money as well. Right now, they're meeting about how they're gonna iron all this out, so it's earmarked for consolidation in last year's budget, so it should not go away.
Okay. Very good.
But if it did go away, then what does that mean, I guess, is my question.
Yes, mine too.
If it wasn't there, does that mean then, and I guess to the board chair, would that make some big difference now as to where we stand?
That is not my thinking. As far as, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, do you mind if I speak?
Go ahead.
It's my understanding, just as Devon has indicated, that the money was in last year's budget and it's there for consolidation. So as far as I'm concerned, it's there for consolidation. Let's move forward. I understand your question, but in my opinion, it's not an issue.
All right, I'm good to go, because my question was, what if it's not there? So then that means that you don't want to go through with the consolidation if the $3 million is not there.
Well, like I said, we've already voted on it, as a board, and it's been, approved by a board. I mean, if the $3 million wasn't there and then they didn't pass the, whatever the legislation is that's gonna, force us to, then I would like to reconsider it.
May I ask, why would you want to reconsider if the $3 million is not there?
what's the advantage of
What's not the advantage?
consolidation?
What's not the advantage?
Getting
We-
$3 million
we are-
would be the first thing.
Well, I do understand that, Mr. Heights, but I
Yeah.
also want you to know that we are in a very small county,
Right.
wherein we need to look and put the children in front of you or I, all that $3 million. We need to put them in a better place of being able to get a better education and not be split because the adults can't get along or can't agree on what to do. That's my opinion.
Well, I personally don't think that the splitting of the districts has anything to do with the education of the children. The reason the legislature's trying to push this on is because they think it's going to save us money by consolidating the administration, which I think you can look at some of the history that's going on with other consolidated districts, and it hasn't proven that.
Proving that there is no saving of money by putting the districts
Orangeburg hasn't
together.
saved any money.
But
And look at the situation they're in right now.
Orangeburg was kind of like pushed forward without anyone giving it a second thought about what was going on. We've had time and still have time to think about, to lead and guide our other colleagues in the right direction as to which way we need to go. So if the $3 million is there, that's fine. If it's not there, it still should be fine. We'll use what we have in order to get what we want.
Oh, I agree, but the basis for us combining or being pushed to combine was to save money. And like I said, the problem we have, or our district has, is the more debt that we're going to take on in this consolidation. We've been paying on our debt for the last 10, 12 years. We've had half of it paid off. We're actually over the, sort of over the hill and starting to see our millage go down. And you guys are just starting to pay on your debt. And you're talking about even, more than, 39 million versus our 29 million? And now that's going to be consolidated together, and that's going to come on our plate now.
Okay. Madam Chair, we're in a situation where we have the understanding as a community that we will be consolidated at some point in time in the extremely near future. When that exact date would be mandated by the state, I have absolutely no idea, but I have, or I should say, we know it's going to happen within the next couple of years. The purpose of consolidating is because we have an opportunity collectively as two districts to come together, and I believe, Mr. Hires, you mentioned this at our board meeting, and I believe this piece of it was also reported in a recent local newspaper, that we have an opportunity to carve out how we would like this consolidation to look like as a county district, versus if we don't come together in an attempt to consolidate, we would be faced with a situation where the state would mandate how this consolidation would look like, and we would have absolutely no input with regards to that at that time. Now, will that happen in 2022 or 2023? I don't know when the exact time would be for those districts that have students that are under 1,500. So, the purpose of consolidating, agreeing to move forward in a consolidation effort is so that we can carve this out jointly, how we would like to see it and how it would best suit our kids and our community, versus allowing the state to come in and tell us exactly what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what money what you can't do with this, what you can't do with that. That is the way that's been my understanding of moving forward with this. I do understand that Orangeburg consolidated and they haven't saved any money. I get that piece of it. But we're in a position where we can either direct our path, or we can allow someone else to direct our path. That is my opinion. That is what I base it on. My heart is in this for the right reason, and that is the way that I see it. We can have a say in how this happens, or we can allow the state to dictate to us how this is going to happen. That's the difference. It's either A or B. It's not going to be a middle of the road forever. We're not going to be able to live in a gray area forever. It's coming, and it's coming soon. We voted on this. We voted to move forward with consolidation efforts of the two districts, with the understanding too that the $3 million is there. It's been said that it is there. It was in last year's budget. I have no information that says that it's taken away or even that it's going to be taken away. So as far as I'm concerned, I am in a position of moving forward. That is what I think, that is what I believe, and that is based on all of the information that I've just told you. We know it's coming. We can decide how we want that to look like, or we can do nothing.
We were each given a packet on this past week.
I'm sorry, I don't have one. Do you have an extra?
Devon,
I think Devon has extras.
we were each given a packet. The first packet was the template for the preliminary plan of consolidation, timeline and application for proviso 1.888. Okay, the second two pamphlets were the preliminary plan that we submitted in August, and we have been diligently working together as a planning committee because it came back from Molly's office that we're only going to get $3 million. So therefore, we had to come up with numbers and figure out how to make this plan work. If you got your packet and you didn't go over it, you missed a whole lot of information, because that's exactly what this meeting is about. Coming together with this plan, the one that was in August, the plan that going forward we hope can be submitted to the Department of Education, our state superintendent, Molly Spearman, along with the financial piece of it. The vision statement, when you read the consolidated vision statement, it tells you that Bamberg 1 and 2 envision a county-wide school district that will be able to improve efficiency and provide students with increased educational opportunities by having a larger student base to support additional educational programming. We've also been talking about combining different fields in the districts between the two so that we can move forward. I don't think we need to keep getting stuck on this $3 million when Molly's already said the money's there. But I think we need to be concentrating on this, making sure this plan is done, and you have the preliminary plan, and it was given to you, and I will hope that everyone has read it. Because when we're given these materials, I don't just take these materials and just look at them and throw them in a corner. I take these materials and I read them, because to me, these are my children. These are my children. And it burdens me to hear confusion going on when we need to be just diligent working so that we can work this out, so that the plan can be submitted and we can move forward. The first thing we need to do is hire a consultant. I believe we have 3 names, Lynn. We have 3 names that everybody will get a packet of the 3 names. You need to go over them so that when we meet at the next meeting, you have read the background of each person so that we'll know what we're talking about when we talk about it. That's the first thing we need to do. But we all need to be on the same agreement. We don't need to be pilly-willing back and forth. because that's wasting time. We don't have time to waste. We want to get this done so it can be done correctly and in order, so that our children can feel better about themselves.
Well, I don't think we're piddly-widdly and back and forth. I think what we're deciding is whether we got $3 million and whether the legislation is even there that's forcing us to do that. Right now, it's not there. It hasn't been approved yet.
Molly's told us at the meeting that Dr. Sojourner, Ms. Swarding, Ms. Walker, myself, and Mr. Boyd, that the $3 million were there. She's even talked about people sending in to help us move forward.
Well, that's fine, but our legislature sat right here and was talking about even a larger pot of money and told us to submit, everything that we thought we needed. And like I said, then we get, $3 million and we submitted, what, 30-something million?
That's why we had to redo.
And again, I agree we have to do this if we're, like I said, if they're making us do this. But the thing is, if they're not giving us this $3 million and the legislation never gets passed, now like I said, supposedly it's going to get passed, but right now it's not.
So you
I don't want to go back to my voters and they come to me and say, why did you support this, or why did the district support this whenever we didn't get $3 million and the legislation didn't even force us to do it?
If we've already been told by Molly that the money is there, it seems like you're still saying that you don't want to move forward with it because you're not sure that the money's there.
Well, I'm not sure that the money's there.
Well, if my state superintendent told me that it wasn't there, I don't think it's going to disappear in the air.
Well, I don't know. I hope not.
Well, that's what she said to us, that the money was there.
And also, we're working off of the budget that we had last year. That $3 million was engrossed in that budget. Ms. Swarding has already said that what was there is there. So the only thing that we can do is have a little bit of faith and trust that the $3 million is there. I don't think it would tell us that it was there and then all of a sudden snatch it from under us and say, ha, you ain't got it no more.
Now, what did I say? What did you say?
Did you not say that with the $3 million?
It was.
Oh, okay, I apologize. Sorry to have.
But as far as our budgets that were approved, yeah, we approved last year's budgets, but the state still hasn't said what they're going to give us in money this year, correct?
For 2021?
Yeah. So,
But we're still looking at 1920 budget, which meant that $3 million was included within that 1920 budget. And because it was included in there, that means that whatever we got then, we still got it.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sorry. Yes.
I have a question for all the board members here. Are we here to debate about whether or not we're going forward with consolidation, or are we here to discuss
The plan.
the proposal regarding the consolidation of the two districts? The purpose is getting mixed up here, and I'm seeking clarification. What's the purpose of the meeting? If we are not here to discuss what we have on the agenda, then we need to adjourn this meeting and reconvene at another time. I have no interest or desire to sit here and continue to debate what our board has already passed. I hear what my member is saying. I'm not sure what you want to do at this point, Mr.
no,
Myers.
like I said, we've already said we're going to consolidate, but I'm just posing the question there about the $3 million
Okay.
and stating that the legislation hasn't even been passed yet that's forcing us to do it. I just want that out there.
You are absolutely correct. The legislation has not passed, and it did not get discussed to be passed as a result of COVID-19.
Right.
I think everybody is aware of that. But the question that remains on the table for these two school districts Or do you have an interest to be proactive and have direct input as to what this consolidation district would look like? Or do you not? Because there's no secret that Molly Spearman has put out there. It's in 1.88. All the other conversations that's been had, and that is if you have less than 1,500 students in your district, it's going to consolidate. Again, I don't know when that actual consolidation would take place, short of the S419 that we're talking about with regard to where we're at now. But if we want to have input into how this is going to look, then this is the route you go. If you don't want to have any input and you want all of your ability to stop, and you have no input and have someone direct and tell you what to do, then that's the other option. There's no middle ground here. We can choose to move forward as both districts has an interest to do, or we can adjourn this meeting. I mean, we can talk about that, or if there's continued debate about the 3 million, continued debate, then we need to adjourn this meeting. I'm not going to sit here and waste my time about debating this stuff. We need to, either we're going to do this or we're not for whatever reason. But I do respect what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. Consolidation is not yet passed. Do we wait for consolidation to be passed? And at that point, if it is, then we won't have any input. We have an opportunity to have input before that passes. That's where we're at.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if Ms. Walker, you finish?
Yes.
I agree with Ms. Walker. Either we either have a seat at the table, or either someone gonna dictate to us what's going on. I prefer to have a seat at the table, and that way I can have some input on what's going on. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, whether we want to or not.
Proceed.
My point is this, that the gentleman over there said that their tax base, that's they looking at, the tax bases are going up because we got a $38 million school. They're down about $19,000 or $18,000. They worry about the tax people in Bamberg County that they will have to bear the burden of Denmark district. It shouldn't be what taxes we got to pay. We can pay taxes no matter where we live. And we can pay taxes the rest of our life. That shouldn't be even not a part of the consolidation. We should come together as one school district and go on from there. But y'all worried about tax when voting coming around. Voting is coming around to everybody. We might not be in that seat next year. You may not be in that seat when voting come around. Whether they put you in there or not. When they divide the county, you may not have the people that voted for you last year. You have new people voting. And where they cut the line, that's where it falls. Whether I be on there, Mr. Byers, or Ms. Goodman, or Bishop, or Beverly. We don't know how this is going to be divided. And I'm not worried about whether I be on the board or not. My taxes are still going to be wherever it lies. We still have to pay that taxes. That's my
Yeah,
point.
but we've been paying those taxes for the last 10 years, 12 years. You haven't been paying that bond tax at the level we have over in District 1. We've been paying a higher level than you guys have for the last 10 years. And now we're fixing to tack it on for another 30 years.
But that's the choice you made when you built it and did this new school.
We
know.
didn't make that choice.
Somebody made it in Bamberg County.
No, we made for ours, and we've almost got ours paid for. And now we're going to have to start, paying for this one, or ponying up to pay this one.
And if the state decide to go consolidation, you still got to pay the taxes whether you want it or not.
That's true, I agree.
Madam Chair, are we going to continue to debate this, or are we going to go forward with discussion? Again, I'm ready to walk up out of this meeting if we're going to continue to sit here and go back and forth about this issue. Either if there's still an issue and we need to resolve it, then we need to adjourn the meeting and reconvene at another time. I don't have time for this. This is, we need to This is your house, you decide what you want to do, but I have no desire to sit here and go back and forth. If we need to have some other kind of,
District 2, are we moving forward?
I thought that decision was made a while
It's
ago.
already. And we haven't changed our minds. We're gonna move forward. And we received your letter to move forward. So now we're down to looking at the preliminary plan that was submitted in August and the new preliminary plan that has been drawn up for us. And also pull out your financial part of it, right, Devon? Because when you get to certain areas in it, when you get to page 3 of them, page 4, I believe, that breakdown the funding categories.
Page 4 or what?
Page 4 of the preliminary plan, that's balanced at 3 million. You can go back to the first page. Anybody have any questions concerning the first page of the preliminary plan?
Madam Chair, if I may ask, if you, for the purposes of, all the board members and the audience out there, you might just want to go line by line and explain what that is. In the sense of, we're looking at this point, up top, if you look at the categories, we're looking at allowable amounts. That's the amount that comes to the 3 million, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, if you could just go line by line at what's allowable that we're looking at.
The first line, it says pre-consolidation costs of staff to be hired by the Consolidation Planning Committee to carry out required pre-consolidation functions, such staff to be determined. The amount that we put down, that we were asking for, was $300,000. Coming back from the state superintendent's office, we're only allowed 150 staff, 150,000. And it's the explanation, because each one of them that we were disallowed, it needed more information. So therefore, in your last column, it says explanation. And it explains how we come up with that number, but we dropped it from 300,000 to 150,000. You go down to the next one, the cost of operation of the Consolidation Planning Committee through the members of the committee would not be compensated for their work separately from the current compensation. And the category is on a consolidation consultants and staff and attorneys, and it's 50,000. And it says in your explanation, see the above, which you just refer right back to the first one. You drop down to the next one, there's no change. We asked for 300,000. No, there's nothing allowed for it. Back up. There's nothing allowed for the 50,000. We asked for 500,000 for professional services to work with the Consolidation Planning Committee, the districts, SCDE, and other stakeholders to carry out pre-consolidation functions, including but not limited to legal services, auditing services, facilitator services, community relations services. The amount we asked for was 500,000. It wasn't allowed. So she didn't give us anything for that. Drop down to the next one, professional services to work with the Consolidation Planning Committee, the district, and other stakeholders to carry out pre-consolidation functions, including but not limited to legal services, auditing, facilitator, community relations services, etc. as needed. We asked for 100,000. There was nothing allowed for that. Drop down to 2-year consulting contracts for senior administration officials who resign, retire, lose their jobs because of consolidation, so they continue to provide guidance and expertise to the consolidated district. We asked for 300,000. 0 was allowed. Debt service was not an issue. IDA funding was not an issue. Turn over to your second page. Title I was not an issue. Severance payments and other required separation costs for those losing their jobs because of consolidation. The hiring of a new superintendent and interim, that would be for both boards. 150, and 150 is allowed. Teacher recruitment bonuses fund to assist the new district in attracting talent in its first 5 years. We asked for 100,000, 50,000.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I
Back
just
up.
interject to go back up, the 150 you were talking about refers to 150,000. I just want to say for the record, that it's 150,000 versus just 150.
Yeah,
I don't want any of
150,000.
the viewers to think it's just 150, right. So,
150,000.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am, thank you.
We're down to salary equalization over 5 years for all employee categories: teachers, administrative staff, bus drivers, food service staff, and maintenance staff. You see what we asked for? $2 million. In here, you'll see in red, OT, PT, speech, and BI. That's in both districts. We're allowed 400,000.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
It says speech, it says OTPT,
And
speech,
BI.
and
Bamberg
Bamberg
one.
1. I just wanted to clarify.
Bamberg 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
New district administrative offices, 8,500,000, nothing allowed. Cost of disposing unused buildings for 3 years after consolidation, we asked for 150,000, nothing is allowed. Go down to cost of moving to the new district offices after construction or renovations to the existing space for consolidated staff, 100,000. You'll see in red, Bamberg 1 holds 7 people, Bamberg 2 holds 12. And both districts are full, but Bamberg 2 has big offices which could be split into 2. We're allowed 100,000. Facilities improvements in Bamberg 1, including 200,000 to replace HVAC units that are end of the life, and 1,500,000 to install LED lights throughout the district for efficiency, and 50,000 to renovate and update the current business lab at the high school. Asked for 500,000. We're allowed 250,000. And if you go over to the last column, you'll see explain comparing to Bamberg 1 and the new facility at Bamberg 2. And there was also, if you want to back up to where the OT and PT and speech in Bamberg 1, there was reduction in force needed. Also above that, for the 50,000 for retirement, reduced numbers of international teachers. We're now down to facilities improvement in Bamberg 2, including 75,000 in maintenance building upgrades, 50,000 for HVAC upgrades and repairs, and 30,000 for plumbing upgrades and repairs. We asked for 160,000, allowed 112,000, and this was mostly plumbing issues. Go over to fire alarms. We asked for 10,500. 10,500 is allowed. Not as Bamberg 1 is not as updated as Bamberg 2, so that's why the request is there. upgrade security cameras, existing cameras on 7 and 8-year-olds to equalize the security between the two. We asked for $192,000. $192,000 was allowed. Security fence, no action. Emergency radio repeaters removed, no action. Additional power school, $20,000 allowed. Dial scan and e-trees, $15,000 allowed. Smart Fusion and Harris, $7,500 allowed. One-on-one computing devices, $430,000 allowed. Technology improvements in Bamberg 2, including $320,500 to pay for Chromebooks that are compatible with Bamberg 1 and to fully implement the one-on-one initiative. $325,000 amount allowed, $325,000. The last page, technology improvements in Bamberg 1, $534,675,000 for new interactive panels that are compatible with Bamberg 2. Amount asked for $534,675. The amount allowed $534,675. Interactive panels, no action needed. Equalized network interfaction on the same platform in Bamberg 1 as Bamberg 2, which includes $183,000 to upgrade current Netgear switches to Cisco, $84,000 to upgrade current Aerohigh wireless access points to Cisco, America access points, and $33,000 to upgrade UPS power packs throughout the district. We asked for $300,000. This is for technology funding. We're allowed $203,325. New data center at the district level, $50,000 asked for, $50,000 allowed. New firewall at the new district, no action. Maintenance vehicles for the new district, as neither district has adequate maintenance vehicles. We asked for $50,000, $80,000, and nothing is allowed for that. So therefore, there's no maintenance, which make it a grand total of $3 million. So that's how we came up with the $3 million to be submitted back to the State Department.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
it's my understanding that the release of those funds in part until we reach the $3 million cannot be released until the plan is submitted. So
Exactly.
I just wanted for the record that the $3 million that's been set aside cannot be dispersed from Columbia until the plan is submitted. Once the plan is submitted, they will start to release those funds. That's information that we were told if we move forward with consolidation of the two districts.
Correct. Does anybody have any questions?
Just as a footnote, Madam Chair, I think we one time had a deadline of August the 1st for that, but I'm not sure exactly. I think it changed. Devon, is that correct?
The August 1st deadline only applied to the actual plan being submitted to the State Department. That plan was submitted on time, so we're in the time frame. There is no set deadline to have your submission back for the plan to be approved with the changes that need to be made.
But this plan has been submitted to Betsy Carpentier, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're
The
far
plan is-
ahead of time.
Yes, the plan was submitted on time. Now we have to revise it to match 3 million, and then the plan and everything have to coincide.
But we don't have to do any more maxing to get it to the 3 million. We
No,
balanced
we're
it
there.
already, right?
We're there.
We're there, we balanced it. So now the plan is at Betsy's on her desk and her prerogative to begin to deal with our plan, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
She's gonna,
Submit.
We have to resubmit it, but we have to resubmit it with some other changes we're discussing.
uh-huh,
The planning committee's discussing at the next meeting, which is
Right.
why we're talking about hiring a consultant.
right,
So the consultant's gonna help us bring it all together.
yeah.
Because if you look at that letter in your packet, the letter that's in your packet from Betsy, I think it's like the second,
From
third
Betsy.
document.
This one.
The memorandum,
Yeah, the memorandum, in that letter, it kind of specifies to you what's missing out of your plan, where your corrections need to be made.
Not the one
That's-
dated,
This one.
October 18th.
not the one dated
2019.
October 18th?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought we cleaned some things up since then.
We've
Yeah.
done some
We've
of
done
that, we're just not through with that.
Okay, okay. So she next wants to get the consultants that we're supposed to get approved and get back to her? She wants that? Betsy wants that?
No, and the consultant is something the committee wants,
Okay,
right?
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
The consultant is something that the committee wanted to help us bring it all together, because you have to, show in your plan how you're gonna bridge the gap between the children and how you're gonna, you know, what's your timeline's gonna be, your curriculum, how's your curriculum gonna work? So that's what we were trying to do the consultant with,
yeah,
and so they can help us bring all of that together.
exactly.
So that, and we can't submit the plan again, or we discussed at the last meeting, not to submit the plan again until we had everything in it. So that we wouldn't submit it, and she sent it back, and we submit it again.
Okay, do we have the bios on the consultants?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, I do believe we have, that information and, just bear
We
with
have
me. I believe we have that information along with the, RFP letters. I did not print those letters out, but I did
You
review
did,
them.
yeah, okay.
I did review the letters.
They just sent them to you?
No, ma'am, I believe
I got
Mr. Boykin's office sent the letters to, both of the chairs, and that information would come to our committee meeting. Or, well, you recall that we talked about the three that we were gonna send RFPs to. So it's
Okay.
just a matter of,
Printed and getting back to the committee.
right, it's a matter of printing the originals, because it was sent to us in drafts.
Is there any reason it would go to the chairs as opposed to the superintendents?
You can ask that question to Lynn or to Mr. Boykin.
I will.
It had our names on it, I
Lynn is
guess.
here.
It had our-
That's what you were asking, Lynn? I hate to talk behind you, but,
No, it's fine, I can send, it's no problem, we can send it.
One moment, please. Continue.
It's no problem, we can send it as well, it's just a matter of, if we could get together, I guess, after this and give you your information,
I can't hear you.
I can get that too. I have it.
Okay. Because I kind of think we were supposed to make that decision tonight, or were we? I may be off.
I don't think,
At the next meeting.
yeah, not
Planning
yet.
committee.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, may I speak? In response to your question, I believe we were going to make that decision at the next committee
Committee
meeting.
meeting,
And
okay.
that may be a reason why, we
Okay.
just got it in draft form, I have no, and it was gray, so it wasn't like an original that we could
Okay, okay.
pull off and print down.
Okay.
It just came over as, I thought it was just an FYI for us to review.
Okay,
But that's something that would be discussed with the committee, and then we would, at that point, move forward with getting them signed and sent out. So that wouldn't be for the purpose of
all
tonight's
right,
meeting, it would
okay.
be a committee
And that
joint
meeting is
effort.
next Thursday.
I
Is that
think that's
correct?
gonna be-
27th,
It's the
Wednesday?
27th.
Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am, it's the 27th at 10 a.m. So that would be next Wednesday, that we would come together with that.
Okay.
See if the committee agrees with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I have a quick question about the memorandum. On page 4, under facilities, what were they referring to when it said the districts applied under proviso 1.88, however, for $763,000 in costs for construction of a shared high school Denmark Oler, and no indication of the cost with additional space is being made to that school? Is that just something that got stuck in there accidentally, I guess, that they're referring to?
Kyle and Cheryl put that in there.
Yeah,
Okay, so that was something that was just
Yeah.
pulled out. It was in this big
that's why,
package.
mhm.
Okay.
Which paragraph was that, Mr. Hines?
That was under facilities on page 4.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford.
Thank you.
So, Lynn, can you make sure Dr. Sojourner and Ms. Ford, as well as Ms. Anderson, receives that so that we can have,
Yes.
Make sure that the other superintendent get a couple.
yeah, as well as Ms. Dottie. Thank you. No, not ignoring you, Ms. Dottie. I gotta get used to you sitting back there.
Yeah, I was under the impression when I received them that they were just for information, that they would be brought to the committee meeting
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
Because it
All of
wasn't in
us
a
will look
format
at
where I could print it.
Yeah, it wasn't, it was just sent as a matter, to me as a matter of information. I couldn't print it or touch it, and I didn't even try. When I saw how it was sent, I said, okay, this is for us to just have, but it would come to the committee as a whole. So that's the way I took it. So that's why I didn't print or bring anything, because there's nothing for me to do at this point.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, just to piggyback on your question, Mr. Hires, yeah, that, like Superintendent Swarting said, that was something that Kyle put in, but we both know that there is no joint shared high school that we
Right.
were, yeah, and I have no idea why that was even put in there. But I wasn't there when all of this was
Right.
going on, but I do understand that that was just information that was put in there, and that's not the case.
We weren't involved in that either, that was 188B. We weren't involved in that because we didn't apply for the money because we didn't meet any of the criteria.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we were not involved in any of that, that was Bamberg 2, and it was through Kyle and Michelle.
Okay.
So we weren't responsible for that being included.
That's a non-issue.
Yeah.
That's a non-issue at this point.
Non-issue.
And I have one more quick question on this consolidation plan, one with the balance $3 million, and the timeline that says the district will be fully operational on July 1st, 2021 or July 1st, 2022. I mean, realistically, though, we're probably talking 2022, don't you think?
Yes,
Because that's
yes,
short time.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely the latter.
the latter.
all right, okay.
Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
It's also possible that it could be extended beyond that because it has not passed in the legislature and all of those things. So it could be 23, 24.
But my thing is, the more we get done, the smoother this is gonna go. And we're combining services, that's for the children. And so I think to get to this point, we're getting somewhere.
Well, I think we've done a good job doing that, in the past, like I said, this past year. Like I said, I think we should, of course, continue to do that even before we get to that point of a consolidated district.
I agree.
Any other? So, Mr. Vaughn,
Yes, ma'am.
our next step is, in the next meeting, to look at those three.
Yes, ma'am. And, the part I was supposed to do with the template that Ms. Lynn sent me last week, I'm still working on it.
Okay.
It was a little bit harder to flow through because it was, I'm sorry, Lynn, no offense. It was a little harder to flow through when I got it back because I was pulling out from 3 different places. So I hope to have that for y'all no later than Monday morning. We have to review that. And then we have to talk about a consultant, and then that would be our next step.
Okay, where are we at with Mr. Bob Damprin, or whatever his name is?
I have a meeting with I have a meeting for Bamberg 1 next week with him, but we're really not at that point with him
So you
yet
worry-
either because we have to get, I mean, he's already given us the information. The bond debt millage can stay at 109. We got that back in the summer.
Yeah.
He gave us all that information then. So the bond millage can stay at 109 for the remainder. But we're not there yet.
Okay,
We're not to that point yet.
okay.
We gotta get this plan worked
The
out.
consultant,
Yes, and so we're
and
not.
that's our priority right now.
Yes, ma'am, that is your priority right now.
Is there anything, any questions from anybody, any?
Yes, Madam Chair, I think at one time, and it may be, and I may be off here, but at one time we talked about our local delegation, and I
Yes.
think we talked about meeting with them. Now, I'm not sure whether we
That's,
want to
we still want to.
bring them here to talk with us, or, you know, how exactly we're going to do that, but I think you said you did not want them to come to this particular meeting, but when we have the combined boards meeting again, I think we talked about the local delegation. Is that
Yes.
still something the 2 boards are gonna talk about, or was that something we're not going to do?
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do.
If you don't mind, Madam Chair, yes, you are correct. We, Chairperson Bonaparte had expressed in the committee meeting that she wanted the 2 boards to get together so that everybody could understand where we're at this point in the phase of all of this. And also to talk about districts and how, you know, any input that the boards might want to see, so that when we do get together with the legislators and have the legislators come to a joint board meeting, that we would have some talking points to ask them about how we want this to look. So you are correct. So another meeting would have to be scheduled, a joint meeting of the board, and also have the legislators at that meeting. But before we get to that point, I think this meeting, we were going to talk a little bit about maybe some of the things that we might want to address with the legislators when they do come.
Yes.
And I think one of the big things that was talked about was, you know, districts. And,
Yes.
we have some plans here, which is information that Devon has presented us with, and all of you should have a copy in your packet. And that's from the 2 districts that are consolidating, the legislation that was written for them. One is Clarendon, and the other one I think is Hampton. And if you had an opportunity to look at those, which I did, it appeared that their boards were appointed. And that was something that we were talking about in our committee meeting, whether or not we were even interested in something like that, or did we want to look at by district, you know, how many do we want to see on the board? You know, each of us now have 5. Do we want 7? Do we want 9? And it's just a matter of input from all of us to just kind of come together and get some talking points so that we can be better prepared when the legislators come in to the joint meeting. So, Madam Chair, I
Yes.
don't know if you want to make some notes of maybe some things that the board members would like to talk about, because the next meeting we would try and
District
take
lines is one of them, right?
Yeah.
How many members?
On our, if you look on, the plan, in the overview under the overview,
It says the new district will be governed by 7 board of trustees elected from districts in the manner to be determined. So, that's one issue.
You're looking at which plan?
The one that has the changes to meet the 3 million.
And, excuse me, I put the 7 in there because that's what was in both legislations. So 7 can be changed to 9 if you want a 9 or 10.
We actually have 7 county council members, correct?
Correct.
In those districts
Correct.
already drawn
No,
They
ma'am.
won't do, no.
because of the student
No.
population, or?
Common interest of the community.
The demographics for county council is just dealing with everybody in the county. For the school districts, it's working a little bit differently. It's the demographics of it. So it's a little different, so.
So we can pose that question. Number of seats.
Yeah, board composition.
Another one, Madam Chair, 2 from Denmark and 2 from Bamberg will be up for re-election in 2021. I mean, due to the fact that we're consolidation, do you want to run an election and then a year later do another one? Can you keep those individuals in place until the consolidation becomes, and then?
Question.
What seats are?
Mine will be up, I have seat in Denmark, 1, 2, right? 1 and 2 will be up in Bamberg too. And I know y'all got 2 that will be up also. I don't know which one of y'all seats members will be up. It's 21 and 22. That's what, 21 and 22.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Just going off the top of my head, and I'm not certain about this, but I think election would probably still occur, but I think the question that you pose is even if whether or not the legislators could appoint, for example, and I'll just throw this out, your 2 seats are up around that time. Could the legislators reappoint you to your same seats until, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you asking if maybe that's a possibility, could appoint you back to your same seats?
Well, until you get,
Okay.
consolidation is there.
Okay.
Rather than having an election in 2021 and say, well, okay, we got the lines now, we're gonna have it in 2022. You just had an election in 2021. You know how much it costs to just open up the polls,
That's a good question. I don't think,
And it may not.
yeah, I don't even know if they would have the authority to change that election. I think the election probably will still go on. I don't know. That's a very, very good question.
Well, I think it's, the timeline's gonna play a big factor in that too. If we're talking about 2023, these 2 separate boards will probably still be here for another year and a half, maybe, to 2 years, so. That's all depends, probably, yeah.
But that election will affect both sides of the county, won't it?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, we have 2, it'll be up to.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Okay. Is anybody responsible for contacting the local delegation? So the board chairs will do that?
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
I think at the last committee meeting that we had, I said I would take on the responsibility and report that back to the committee.
All
But we needed to add this one first.
Do we have a date in mind for the next, coming together of the 2 boards? Do you have a date in mind?
If I may speak, that was one of the reasons why we needed to come together, so we could figure out what works for us, so that when I do go to the legislators, I can go to the legislators and say, these are the dates that we have, and the ability to have some flexibility so that we could work that out. So it's just a matter of when you all are available to meet with the legislators, or should it be the legislators meeting with us, or meeting with us? But if you have some dates in mind, that, I'm willing to take those down now. If there's days that don't work for you, that works better. You tell me what days are not good for you.
Madam Chair. Yes. Ms. Walker,
Yes, ma'am?
I feel that, because the legislative body is such a busy body, we should look at what 3 dates they have available, and then you get in touch with your board members, and Ms. Bonaparte get in touch with our board members, like we did for this meeting, and see how well we can gel together.
Okay.
Second Monday is off because that's our regular board meeting.
Okay. That's what I was looking for. Anything that's
June
not, that
the-
doesn't work
What
for
is
you.
it this time? That
Okay.
will not work for us.
No second Monday, no third Monday, that's ours.
So June the 8th and the 15th is out.
Right.
Mhm.
Because ours is June 8th and yours is June 15th.
And are we still looking at a evening or daytime? It doesn't matter with y'all, it depends on what their,
What's available.
what's available for them. Are you all okay with that? Okay. All right, then I will reach out to both of the legislators and find out what they have available in the very near future, as in the next week or two. The sooner the better. And I will communicate that information to Ms. Bonaparte, and we'll kind of go from there with connecting with the actual date that would be suitable for them.
Anything else? Anything else? Vaughn, anything you think of?
On the legislation, anyway. You got to do that. That's what's been discussed at our meetings. The same thing you're discussing right now.
Ms. Lynn, from the legal side? So it's crystal clear that we are moving forward. Thank you. Anything else? Nothing else?
If I may, Madam Chair, Lynn, you and Mr. Boykin, okay, you're handling that. Okay, that was in reference to the letter, the three, for the consultant, they're getting that.
All hearts and minds clear? Ms. Dottie, welcome aboard. Thank you. Have anything you want to say? Absolutely.
No, ma'am, I'm done.
Ms. Gordon? If nothing else, this meeting is now adjourned. 6:45 p.m. Thank you everyone for coming.
I just asked you all one question.
Ma'am,
I just asked you all a question. Something that- Yeah.
Amber.
and then she explained to her that she could understand.
Really? I did. Really?